look at this. Look at the battling, and it is a safety car. Here comes Mika into Stoke corner. Whoa! Almost. And away we go here in the Netherlands for F1 down towards the next couple of... Oh, it is! Oh my god! Whoa! Bit of a season as Nano wins! In Monza for FRLT Tier 1 of 4. And right, Benny! Oh, he goes! Hello, and welcome to FRLT Season number 5. And it is time for fours here tonight as we come to Spain, specifically Catalonia. 4.657 kilometers, 2.893 miles, 14 turns, 2 DR zones down the pit straight and down that back straight between turn 9 and 10. High speed corner is turn number 3, the long right-hander on the track, of course. Here is the calendar. We've gone through Abu Dhabi and Monza. This week we come to Spain. Next week we'll be going to Imola, Austria, and then we'll be having our first break week of the season before August, our month of August. And all our racing across August will be in Las Vegas, Brazil, Great Britain, and then we'll take another break week before we go to Bahrain, Qatar, and Australia to finish off the season in September. We're about to get underway. About to get underway very, very shortly, as I've just told the drivers to ready up and to get going here tonight, because tonight's going to be an interesting one. Spain, bit of a different circuit, of course. I have got the standings as well. Sadly, we haven't been able to have a graphic made in time for the race, but I will put down the list of what the standings are. TDR on top TDR are last. Don't get too excited, guys. TDR are last. On 17 points at the moment. They fall just in behind the team of Peck, who had their first race in round 2. They only got 5 points last race, so it was 12 points then 5 points, so a bit of a struggle from them. Peck who proceeded to have an incredible first week with a podium and a P6 finish, brought themselves up to 19 points. Somehow. That's exactly 12 and 7, so 19 points from themselves, which was a brilliant first race of the season for them in round 2. AZR had an amazing evening, P1, P2 and P10, which resulted in an incredible race, 31 points their weekend, including a pole, which was absolutely brilliant. UFRT also a strong evening, P4 and P5 now, double DNF, but still P4 and P5, which is pretty strong for them, which brought them within just 23 points of the championship leaders, SKG, who had a horrific evening, only taking home 5 points. Horrific evening from SKG. And we're getting into Spain, and it is another race. Another race. Where we are going to be seeing none other than Rain. Rain is back. Once again, Rain is back. And somebody's added me now. I'm not sure why somebody's added me now. We'll quickly invite them. Strange for some reason that some people seem to add me this late. And I always say to them, don't add me this late. Because you're most likely not going to get an invite. And he's not on the list of drivers who are online. So he's going to have to sadly wait now. He's going to have to get in through his teammates here tonight. But looking pretty interesting into this evening because, of course, SKG's title run, their incredible first weekend, proving not to be so incredible. Kimi's the first driver out on track, and he's gone for the wet tyres. He feels like full wets is what is needed. And to be fair, I don't disagree with him. It does look like full wet conditions. So for the first time this season, by the way, and for the first time since last season, early last season, for the first time in sort of 2-3 months, the drivers are using full wet tyres for the first time in 2-3 months. What has QDXC gone for? He's gone for the intermediates. He feels like the inters are the way to go. What has Rob gone for? He's gone for the intermediates. Daniel has gone for the wets. So we've got a very mixed opinion of tyres. Wets as well for Inkster. We've got a McLaren out. That's Smokey who's gone for the wets as well. It seems very mixed between everybody. Ben has gone for the intermediates. His teammate Interior has gone for the intermediates as well. So it seems very, very mixed on who's doing what. Kimi's making his way around though. Final part of the track, he might face some traffic as he comes round, but let's ride on board with Kimi as he'll be doing the first lap of the evening. I have to say though, UFRT of course, just ahead of AZR in the standings at the moment. AZR though are missing 2 drivers tonight, by the way, so looks like most likely they're going to be missing 2 drivers for tonight's race. So heading into this race, AZR's championship chances might be thinning slightly, but UFRT, though, looking pretty strong. If they can do another race like last week and SKG have another bit of a struggle, I could definitely see UFRT pushing for a championship charge. And set to 1 is a 26.097, which, to be honest, in these full wet conditions isn't actually too bad. You see a lot of sliding for Kimi as he makes his way through into Sector 2. Sliding around like absolutely crazy at the moment. I do have to say, though, it is interesting. It is very interesting to see for UFRT and sort of how they're performing this season. You know, Falls last season, they scored just over 100 points in 10 races, which was, you know, pretty impressive. I mean, just over 10 points per race. But this season, it's going to be a bit harder for them. They've got a bit more competition. AZR, PEC showing quite a bit of competition. SKG as well, TDR also getting in there as well with points. So I must say that with all 5 teams sort of looking like on a weekly basis, they're all getting into the points. Definitely the share is much smaller. But Kimi, about to finish his first lap. Bit of a quiet first lap, not a lot of problems. A bit of a slide out of the final corner. But across the line, it's a 1 minute 30.139 as the first lap of the evening. And it's a nice first lap of the evening. Vibin is making his way round. I think that's QDXC, who's also invalidated. He's not had the best there. Daniel is making his way around. He's also on the full wets. I very much expected the full wets to be the tyres to go round on. And I very much feel like this is probably the safest and best tyre to go for at the moment, is those full wets. Definitely looks like it's a bit too wet for the intermediates. But we'll have to see, because it even looks like the wets are struggling for grip round here. And across the line, Daniel goes way faster into a 1 minute 29.243 as he sets his time. Rob only does a 1 minute 32, so it's not the best of laps for himself. Inkster goes into P2 ahead of his teammates into a 29. We saw Smokey go P5. Ben, fastest of all, 29.141. Good distance ahead there. Interior went into P5. I think we saw somebody cross the line. I think that was Interior that crossed the line for that position. We got Trusted coming round. What can he do? He can only slot it in P4, so he's still a bit off for the pace there. It's Wooder is coming up to the line. He can only go P6. He's in the 1 minute 30s. He's not exactly there at the moment in lap time. We've got Kimi, who's improving. He goes P2, 29.2. He's found a lot of time in his lap Lots of time in his lap, I have to say. I've seen miles of time there. I think we've got Vibin, who's making his way round. He looks like he's actually on for a very quick lap at the moment. He goes into P4. Very good for TDR. TDR looking very strong in this qualifying so far. QDXC goes into P5. There is game sound. I can tell you there is game sound, but just not much. And part of that comes down to copyright. Because for some reason, engine sounds from this or any other sounds other than engine sounds aren't allowed. So I have to be very careful. So I keep it low as Daniel goes fastest, 28.436. Ixa goes even faster into a 28.894. P2, very nice for himself. Ruben, 28.476. Very close to Tyria goes P3. He finds even more time. I think that was Batiste who went P8. Very, very solid. Very, very solid from themselves. I mean, it's looking really good. Trust is coming around. He's not improving on his lap time. I think he's just had a bit of a slow lap there. We got Dre's coming around. It's Wooder who's just improved by a second to P6. Dre can only go P12. It's a wave, P12. Not the best of laps for himself. We got Kimmy coming up to the line. He was on a slow lap there, so he wasn't pushing. Deck is coming in. He doesn't feel happy on his wet tyres, so definitely not a lot of trust for himself. Rog wasn't improving. Vibin was improving, sorry. But he wasn't able to do that, and he would have done a 29.0, so actually wouldn't have been a bad lap time. QDXC is improving. He goes P4. 8/10 found in his lap. Absolutely incredible. Whereas Toma making his way round and up to the line. Let's see, where's he going to go? He goes P6 for his first lap. Incredibly good, and something has just snapped in my room. Something's just snapped in my room. I've just noticed that. My apologies. That sound was something snapping. I'm not sure what snapped. But something has snapped in the room. So I'm going to have to look after the race. I'm really worried it's something important snapped. I really don't want it to be something important. It really can't be. It's not online. Please, please, Daniel, be online. Daniel, Ascent. Ascent. Dark Ben goes fastest of all to a 27.4. The rain is clearing up. It's looking very, very good for himself at the moment. TDR look like they might be taking pole here. AZR last, we had SKG in round 1, AZR in round 2. We're going to have, at the moment, as Vibin goes into P2. But TDR look like they're on for an incredible qualifying and looks like they could be on for their first pole of the season. And that, I've got to say, is incredible. We might be seeing a third pole in 3 races. We know in no assists. OMB have dominated qualifying, 3 poles in 3 races, but it's very different here in 4s. It's, at the moment, 3 teams in 3 races, all on for pole. Absolutely crazy to see here tonight. Batiste, I think, went P4 there, so quite nice to see. Ixa as well improved. He went to P6. Truster's heading around quite slowly, so is Interior. QDXC improving once again. You can see that how the lap times are coming down. It is very much now intermediate conditions at the moment. We'll see how much he improves into, well, out of his middle sector. We'll see how much he improves by. As we've got an Alpine into the pits. And middle sector, he's up by almost 0.4 of a second. You can just see how much time is being found. Now, with a much lighter rain conditions, you can see it's gone from heavy rain to lighter rain. Still a bit difficult if you go a bit offline. Go a little bit off the racing line, it's much harder to drive. But at the moment, QDXC looking like he's on for something pretty good. I think it's Wooder just improved up to P8, so he's just jumped ahead. QDXC across the line. He goes into P2! 28.004, almost into a 27. What a lap there. Daniel's just on an out lap at the moment. I think we've got Yang Katisa making his way around. He's improving by 7/10. That is going to improve him up to about P14. But he needs to find a little bit more time in his final sector. Can he do that? He can. He improves by 1.2 seconds. Sorry, he had to improve by a lot more. He only goes P16, so he's struggling on his tyres, I'll say. He is really struggling to make those tyres work at the moment. Ruben's making his way around to start his lap. Have we got anybody on a fast lap? That's Kimi on an out lap at the moment. That's Interior, who is improving on his lap. He's up by 8/10 at the moment, so he's looking like he could be slotting into P2 easily and making it a front row for TDR and for specifically Red Bull, which in real life I think Red Bull would love quite a bit. And across the line, he goes P2, 27.537! 400th wave! Sticks it onto provisional pole, 27.245. Justin just went into P4. It's would have improved as well to P5. It's all going crazy. Deck P4 now, 27.5. It is getting incredibly close, I have to say. Getting a lot closer. QDXC! 27.064 from the Peck driver. What a lap! What a lap from that man! Absolutely crazy. Daniel coming outside. Daniel! Fastest of all now. The times are just coming down over and over and over as he goes to a 26.9. First drive into the 1 minute 26s this evening. And that is showing how close it very much is tonight. Smokey is starting his lap. I think we got Ruben who's making his way around. He's up by over a second. Ruben! Fastest of all now. It is just everybody going for provisional pole. Peck now on provisional pole. 1 minute 26.7 is out of time to beat. And that is quite fast. We're going to have to see who can beat that here tonight. I don't know who will and who can beat that. Kimi's still out on the wet tyres, and it's not really working. He's gone to P10, but he's still 1.2 seconds off a provisional pole. So he's still very, very far behind at the moment. We've got Interior, who's on a slow lap. We've got somebody who's starting their lap. That's Daniel, who's starting his lap, who's joined a bit late. But that's okay. We've got Deck, who's on a slow lap at the moment. Looking for a driver who is on a fast lap. Is that QDXC? No, it's not. No, it's not. I think he was on a bit of a slow lap as well. Batiste. No, that wasn't Batiste. That was Reyes Toma, who improved by over a second to go P10. What a lap. What a lap. As now Daniel goes into the pits. Oh! He slid out to the pits! He has absolutely made a massive error there. Jan goes P4. I'm not sure what we've just seen from Daniel. He's just completely gone all over the place. A little bit late on the brakes, I'd say. And that's why he's completely missed the pit lane entry. As Smokey goes P13. He's not exactly on the pace at the moment. He's a bit away from his teammates. He is quite a bit off at the moment. At least 3/10 behind for the moment. Here comes Batiste. Batiste! P2, 21 thousandths behind Ruben. Just 21 thousandths. I don't know what's going on. Interior is up by half a second again. That was his middle sector time. How much is he up now? Interior, fastest of all, 26.650. That's the new time to beat. And that is a big time to beat. I have to say, it's a very big time to beat in this session. Deck goes fastest now. 26.420. What a lap from himself. QDXC once again stealing provisional pole. 26.277. It's the new time to beat. Whereas Toma only went P7 in all of that. I think we've got a McLaren heading round. That's Daniel. He's not up, but he's got to be rushing around because he completely missed the pit lane entry. So let's see. Is he going to come in? He's got to be careful. He's being so careful on his way in not to spin it again. He really cannot bin the car for a second time. I think we've got Smokey on another fast lap. How much is he improving by? He improves by 6.5 tenths to P10. Those wet tyres still, I'd say, are not the tyre to be on at the moment. It's definitely not the tyre to be on. Batiste is improving even more. Batiste goes fast of all into a 25. 1 minute 25.986. I did not think we'd be seeing lap times come down by about 3 seconds in this session. Did not expect from the start of the session for the lap times to come down by 3 seconds. But it is going absolutely wild at the moment. Wave is just starting his lap. I think we've got Daniel who is on a lap. No clue where Daniel is in pace. Daniel's not going to go fastest, but he is going to go P7 and a strong lap from himself. Deck is making his way around. He's not on a fast lap. QDXC. Oh, he's done it as well. He's done a Daniel. He's done the exact same as Daniel did. And not AZR Daniel. He retires out on track. I think he just knows the session's over. Disappointment there. Wow. I've never seen so many drivers miss the pit lane entry. I've never seen it before. It's such a strange thing. And I will say it myself, it's such a strange thing to see. I don't see drivers often missing the pit lane entry. Justin getting very, very slidey all over the track. Just drifting his car through every corner. That Haas not looking too happy as he invalidates on the final to last corner. Is he on a fast lap? No, he wasn't. He wasn't on a fast lap at all. But it still would have been provisional pole. So he was still on a pretty fast lap anyway. So I've got to give it to him. He was still on a very fast lap. Batiste is starting a new lap. Wave is coming up to the line. He's starting a new lap as well. We've got Deck who's making his way around, who's going to be starting a new lap. I think we've got pretty much everybody who's starting new laps. Vibin is on an out lap. We got Justin. No, he's going around slowly. That's Ruben who's making his way around. Then we've got Daniel who's making his way around as well. Pretty much everyone is making their way around at the moment. Because we've got Kimi who's starting his lap. Toma! P2, 26.096. It's Wooder! Goes into a 25.893. I think that's going to be a very, very tough time to beat here tonight. That's going to be an incredibly tough time to beat. I've got to say, it will be incredibly tough to beat that lap time here tonight. We've got Smokey who's coming round. He's going to be the first driver to end off qualifying. Let's see how he's going to do when he crosses the line. He improves by half a second. He goes P8 ahead of his teammate. That's an incredible lap set by himself. We've got Justin. He's invalidated. And so that is his qualifying session over. Whoa, he slid into the wall. He's done it as well. Batiste is also on a lap. Let's see how he's doing. And he's invalidated on the last corner. And he was improving by half a second as well. So he's now under attack. He could lose that time. Wave! 1 minute 25.437! Holy! That is one hell of a lap time. Deck! 24.9. It is, I think, every man for himself now. Vibin goes P3. It is all going crazy. Ruben! 24.6. Daniel goes P3. It is all going crazy. Kimi, where's Toma goes into P5. Kimi went P6. I think that was somebody or other. And that is Daniel who's gone P5. Everybody's going everywhere. Ben P3. What a lap by himself. Let's see where his teammate can go. His teammate Interior can only go P9. It is the last dash to the line. That's Trusted who just crossed the line. He got to there. I think that was Rob. And that is it. That is qualifying. I didn't see where everybody was in the end. But that was a very interesting end to qualifying. Very, very interesting end. And it is Peck and Ruben on second race. They take pole, followed by It's Wooder in second, Ben in third, Deck in fourth, Daniel in fifth. Then it is another Daniel in sixth. Then it is Wave in seventh, Rares Toma in eighth, Interior ninth, and finishing out the top 10, it is Kimi. Then with Vibin, Trusted, Batiste, Yan, Rob, QDXC, Smokey, Ixa, and Justin. That is everybody. Holy, what an end to qualifying. And wet conditions seem to have taken over this week's racing. We had it in no assists. I'm pretty sure we had it in assists as well. We had rain, I'm pretty sure. We had it in Belgium in no assists as well. We've had it now in sort of 2-3 races. It's going a little bit mental. It's going a little bit mental, I have to say. Drivers have about just over 2 minutes to sort out their setups. About 2-3 minutes to sort out their setups for tonight, which is pretty nice. And they've got about 2.5 minutes to sort out everything, sort out what they need. So we're going to get waiting to get underway, but it is dry, which I think is going to throw up a lot of changes tonight. Because, of course, it's dry. Very, very different conditions for qualifying. Is everyone going to stay where they were? Maybe, maybe not. I do think there were maybe 3-4 drivers on wet setups. Specifically, I'd say the top 2 or 3 definitely on wet setups, I do believe. I think they've gone for something different. And now we are getting underway. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Spain for FRLT 4s in season number 5. And it is Ruben who's gotten away incredibly well from the grid. He's gotten a bit of attack from Ben, though, who's also gotten away incredibly well. Into turn 1 he goes. Ben around the outside! Makes the move for the lead. It is a battle between the team of TDR versus Peck. They're still battling through sector 1, down into the next corner, down into turn 4, but it is ultimately Ruben who leads away now, and that is a brilliant defense from Ruben. It looks like he lost it all after turn 1, but it's an absolutely amazing defense for the lead of the race, as now Peck lead away. Daniel now battling his way up past Wave for P4. Wave actually having a pathetic start so far to this race. He's down a couple of places. There's an incident further back. Ixa and Smokey having a moment further back in the grid. You can see Yan also making up some places. QDXC as well dropping down actually. And it's Wooder making his way up into P11. He's got an attack from Interior, but Interior makes a bit of a mistake. Kimmy up to P5 already in this race. He's pushing his way past the man off Wave. Wave really struggling off the first lap. Oh! Absolute madness happening at the moment. It is absolutely going crazy out in the top 6, as now Ruben leads away on lap 1. Again, look at this. Rob getting pushed off track. He's down to P17. Everybody having a bit of a crazy first lap here. But it is Ruben who leads away in front for Peck. Peck chasing their first victory in 4s. Somebody's had a massive moment. That's Kimmy. That is Kimmy who's had a massive moment into turn 3. Just going into turn 3, actually. He's had a huge moment. And he's dropped down the order. Whereas Toma, look at this! Absolute chaos! 3 wide! Into the next corner. You can see it's Wooder trying to make his way past Trusted for B7. It is absolutely going crazy. Interior's going down the order as well. He's had a moment in, I believe, that is turn number 6. But you can see it is all going absolutely crazy over P6 and P7. But TDR looking very strong. P2, P6, and P7 so far in this race. And down in P17 as well. Daniel versus Daniel, and this time it is SKG's Daniel and the McLaren Daniel that makes his way up into P3 and onto the podium. But this means at the moment, for the first time this season, we'll be seeing 3 different constructors all up on the podium here tonight, and that is something very different that I did not expect to see at all. And as you can see with DRS, here comes Ben. He's quite far back, but you can see he's gained about 3/10 on Ruben, just down that pit straight. That's how powerful the DRS is at this point on track. It's generally how powerful it is. And I've got to say, it's incredible that it is that powerful out on track. But I am lost for words off of the start of the race. Absolutely lost for words. The top 4 have now broken away from the rest. Deck lead the mid-pack, though. He's leading the mid-pack away. good points for UFRT at the moment, but I think looking at it, UFRT are only on for 10 points at the moment. So they're looking for they're on for a pretty poor race as it stands. Only going to go up to 46 points after tonight. QDXC's had a bit of a moment, but he's gotten going again. But I have to say, only 10 points for UFRT. AZR are in a better position because they're on for 11, which will make them equal. But with Rares Toma in there as well, it will be up to second for AZR. Peck as well looking in pretty good shape. P1 on for 16 points there. Here comes Daniel making his way past Ben for P2 in this race, as now they chase down the race leader. It looks like Daniel has a lot more pace at the moment than P2 and P3 and P4, sorry. So that's something to look at. That's definitely something to look at this evening. And how that's going to work is very, very important. How that's going to work. I have to say, at the moment, though, it's looking pretty solid from the SKG driver. He's really catching up to the back of Ruben. Ruben and Daniel pulling away from the rest of the grid pretty well. Whereas Toma gets the first penalty of tonight, and there's a 3-second time penalty. Oh, needed a drink. It is very hot. And this is a very crazy race. Batiste, by the way, up ahead of Wave. Up to P10 he goes. That's looking like good points for AZR here tonight once again. Daniel set the fastest lap of the race. You can see Daniel chasing down Ruben for the lead of this race. It's getting very, very close. Ben has dropped off, though. I've got to say, Ben is sitting quite far behind. He's really struggling, I think, on his mediums now. You can see he's 1.7 seconds behind the top two. Well, Daniel in second, actually. He's about 2 seconds away from the race lead. That's happened all in the last about 2 laps. In the span of 2 laps, he's lost that much time. It's not looking good at all for Daniel at the moment. SKG having a bit of a rough weekend, though, as well. P11 and a P18 at the moment is where they sit, even though they have a P2 and P8 in their grasp. It's not where you want to be at the moment, though, because it's still... P2 is only... Remember, P2 is only 13 points. 13 points for P2, I believe. And I believe it's 13 points, if I stand correct. I'll double check that, because I can never remember the point system. Because I'm a bit dopey like that, you know. Let me find the point system. It's 14 points for second, so it's 14 points and another 3 for 8th. So, at the moment, it would be 17 points, but Peck would come away with a few more, as now you can see Daniel Mass makes the move for P3 and onto the podium for AZR. They're pushing again for that championship. AZR looking like they're going to take, again, the most points out of anybody in a race weekend. They've done it, you know, this is sort of the second, you know, if they can make it 2 races, I mean, SKG has only topped the points out of the first 2 races. They've only had the highest points out of any team in just the first race. AZR taking it in the second. And it looks like they're going to be taking it in the third race as well, because they've got P3, P9, and P10, so they've got a lovely 12 points. Then another 2, so that's already 14 and 15. So they'll be taking 15 points. But it could be also Peck, who could take 17 as it stands. Really could be anybody, I'd say. But Peck on their way for 17 points. His teammates, 13th, 15th, and 12th. So at the moment, none of them really in for points, but Ruben very much on his own when it comes down to point scoring, and in this battle for the lead and for the win. On to lap 7 we go. But for Peck, this is an important evening. Whoa! Somebody's had a big moment. Somebody's had a really big moment, and that is a safety car. And it's Wave in the wall. SKG suffer another retirement. They suffer, shockingly, another retirement, I believe. I think it's their 3rd retirement in 2 races. But it's another retirement for them tonight. I have a quick look to double check it in the standings. They've only had one retirement out of their 8 finishes, and this is their, out of now possible 12 finishes, they would have only finished 10 races. So it's first safety car of the race. The leader's out in the lead. Very much leading away with ease. But this is all going to bunch them up once again. I've got to say, Wave, tough one. Tough one there. SKG suffer another DNF, 2 races, 2 DNFs now. So they've, out of 8 possible finishes, they've only finished 6 times. So that's where they'll sit at the moment. But we'll have to see whether that is going to change. We'll have to see whether that's going to change or not. Heading into the race. I'm going to have to see whether that's going to change or not heading into the race. Who's going to go in? The leaders don't go in. Is anybody else going to go in? Daniel's going in. He feels like these tyres are gone. I think we've got quite a few drivers actually coming in. We've pretty much got everybody coming in. Only Decker stayed out. Pretty much everyone else is coming in. Decker's stayed out. The front 2 have stayed out. Decker's stayed out. So has Justin. But everyone else in the pit lane. But what is everybody else going in for? They're going in for a fresh set of mediums. This could be to take the lead of the race. This is very much to take the lead of the race, because now the leaders have caught up to the safety car, which means 2 out of 18 drivers have caught up. Now we have the 3rd driver, and in the next few moments we're going to have the 4th driver, of Justin, who's also going to pull up to the safety car. I mean, we have 14 drivers we're waiting for. Yeah, interesting. Interesting nonetheless. I'll definitely say interesting. But tough one there. I know in assists. By the way, in assists on Wednesday we had a moment of safety car madness. So that is so we had a safety car caused on purpose. So of course today it's not like that. But in all 3 races now, in the last week, well, from this week, we've had at least 1 safety car in all of these races this week. Assists had 1. No assists had 1 as well. I do believe assists had 1 as well. Yeah, assists had a safety car, and 4's here, of course. So all 3 tiers have had safety cars, which is, to be honest, not surprising. But pretty much everybody's now caught up to the safety car. Let's have a look at the tyres. Tyres wise, no, that's the wrong thing. Tyres wise, it is old mediums for all the top 4, then a mix of mediums and hards throughout the grid. I had to say, good mix. Stops pretty much everybody except the top 4. Position changes, great start for Justin. Good race so far for Vibin, up 4 places, same as Batiste. Down 4 places for Interior, down 7 for Toma. So looking pretty interesting there. Only 1 driver with penalties, and that is Toma. So let's see, safety car is in this lap. So it's now up to Ruben for when he wants to lead away the grid. As now Ruben makes his way round. Let's see. What is he going to do off the safety car restart? What can he do off the safety car restart? It's about to get underway. And now he goes. It's not been the best of restarts, though. As you can see, a little bit of sliding on the rear. He hasn't fully been able to break away from Daniel. I think it was a bit late, and I think Daniel predicted it. Out of the final corner now, heading down towards turn 1. Daniel has the slipstream. Heading into turn 1, though. Daniel, is he going to send it round the outside? He's going to try and compromise Ruben's line, but Ruben's held it very strong. He's gotten a good drive out of turn 2. Can he hold it through turn 3? Are we going to see a Mercedes moment? No, he isn't, because he's had a huge amount of understeer. Here comes Daniel. He's already passed Justin with ease. Look at all the chaos happening further behind. I think it's Wood is going for a bit of movement, and look at that. Daniel already up to P3. Oh my god, down the inside. He's trying to get another Daniel. He's trying to get past the other Daniel, SKG Daniel. And down the inside, into the next corner. He tries to hold it. Whoa, getting a little bit racy there. Heading up through the long right-hander. Who's going to hold it better? Still battling over this position. They've lost a second to the leader now. But here comes Daniel down the inside. And he's made that move work. And that extra stop, I think, has very much helped Daniel to get back up into this. Look at that deck down the inside, really trying to push past. And now it's the chase for the lead, as Daniel now chases down Ruben over the win in this race. And for AZR, if they can take back-to-back victories, this pulls them straight back into championship contention. They're very much straight back into championship contention now with SKG, because they've now dropped down to third. They're third and 10th at the moment, and they're also 3rd, 10th, 18th, and DNF. That's where they sit at the moment. So 2 cars inside the top 10. I don't think we're going to see Smokey get up into the top 10 tonight. So for SKG, it's a very important evening for them to actually perform, because again, if they're at the moment on their way to take more shots in the championship, to lose more points. I mean, they're losing 2 there, and they're losing another 2 over with Batiste. So at the moment, you know, they're losing 4 more points. So they're 23-point lead in the championship. Sorry, well, not 23, 24-point lead over SKG. Over AZR. It's going to reduce down to sort of, you know, it's reducing down to 20 points. So, you know, it's a small close. It's closing the gap at a very small amount, but it's still closing the gap nonetheless. Look at this now. Daniel all over the back of Ruben within a lap. He's gotten all over the back of Ruben. Now with the DRS. He's got the slipstream. He's got the DRS. He's not even using his battery. He's using a little bit of it, but he pulls past with ease. And that is AZR into the lead of this race. And Daniel Maas into the lead of this race here for AZR. It's an important evening for them. They want to get back-to-back victories, and they're on their way to do so. Last week, it was the Aston Martins that crossed the line in first. This week, they're on their way to get the RBs a victory and another win under their belt in 4s. Look at this. Batiste trying to make a move round the outside of Vibin. Vibin, of course, on those hard tyres. He's going to be trying to go till the end of the race. Down the inside goes Batiste. He's still battling. Those hard tyres, of course, are quite good round this track. So I have to say, I'm not surprised that Vibin's giving a battle. But there we go. Batiste up to P7. That's a nice move made from the AZR drivers. Now he's pushing his way up the order and up into higher points positions now, as now they're on their way for 21 points in this race. Well, it's purely just a small 13 for SKG. 13 points, by the way. It's coming SKG's way at the moment. Just 13 is going the way of SKG. And we can see battling over P11 here. QDXC looked good in qualifying, not so good now. And that's now a 22nd point going to AZR. So they're closing in that gap a lot more, because it's not just, it's 9 points they're closing the gap down by now. So it's now going to be a 15-point gap, I believe, at the top of the championship. So it's turning into a bit of an interesting battle over in the constructors, very much. It's turning into something. It's turning into something much more interesting than I originally thought. Much more interesting. Batiste, by the way, making another move. He gets past Justin with, I think, a much easier time than with Vibin as he moves up to P6. This is just getting better and better for AZR, by the way. It is just getting better and better for these guys. I mean, if Batiste makes his way up into P5, which he shortly will, with Ben being on the slower tyres, I think, and with Daniel as well, I think we're probably going to see Batiste battling for a podium as now Daniel comes in. But where is Daniel going to come out in all of this? Have SKG once again bottled another strategy? That's my question. Have they bottled another strategy? Because I do believe they have. Because now they've only got one car inside of the top 10, and that is It's Wooder in P9. SKG's decline this season has been rapid. I don't want to be mean, but it has been rapid. 5 points in the last race. They scored 54 in the opening race. They scored 5 points in the last race. And they're scoring... they're scoring 55... they scored from 54 points in the first race. They're down to scoring 5 points in the second and now down to 2. This is just allowing AZR to climb up into this championship battle with ease. They're now on for not only 26, but they're on for 27 points in this race versus 2 that SKG are on for. Just 2 points, by the way. So, 25 points. That's the gap in the championship is 24. So AZR will currently lead the championship by 1 point in the championship, and SKG will lose the lead out of round 3, which is very strange. I am going to say it's very strange to see that. It's Wooder now gaining some places as Justin comes in. But still, it's really strange. It's not where I think we all know it's SKG. If they're so far, this race is not where they want to be. They've definitely been really hurt by the safety car. They've really been hurt by the safety car, and it's really damaged them in this race. And you could just see how much it's damaged them. P7 on for 5 points. Even now, 5 points. That might mean that they just hold on to the lead of the championship by 2 points, but they're just not having the races they need. With Wave being out, not good. Another DNF. Smokey as well, way outside of the top 10, and with Daniel having the strategy not working out, it's just not been a good enough race from these guys. Same for Ruben. I'm really sad to say, but Ruben's kind of had the same sort of day, and it is a moment further back for Jan, who's had a really big moment. Into the wall he's gone. He's lost his front wing and he's struggling to get back onto the track. Peck having some struggles in some places. But as I was saying, I'm really sad for Ruben today. I'm quite disappointed for Ruben because, he's still showing great pace on worn medium tyres, but it should have been a lot more. He shouldn't be, he took pole quite well. He shouldn't be over 2 seconds away from the race leader. This is not where you should be, as we just saw. Batiste. Whoa! Batiste getting racy down the inside. Batiste! Double overtake! And up into P3 he goes. And it's a very, very nice move for Batiste. And onto the podium goes the AZR driver. Double podium once again this week for AZR. They're on 4. I mean, we've got to talk about this. We have to talk about this. 28 points. 28 points walking the way. 29 points, walking the way of of AZR, 29 points. Another incredible weekend. I believe it's the same as they had last week as well. 29 points, I think. 29 or 30 points. They're just absolutely dominating at the moment when it comes down to points wise. SKG can't seem to get close out of this race and last race to AZR's performance. We've reached the halfway point, by the way, in the race. We've surpassed the halfway point. Ruben has now come in, but we've surpassed the halfway point in this race, and I think it's getting interesting. It's getting very interesting now. I think strategies are coming into it. I think a lot of drivers are changing position because of strategies. So I think it's going to be a bit of a waiting game for now, for where everybody's going to be. I think it is going to be a massive waiting game. But Daniel now leads by 5 seconds in this race, by the way. Pure dominance coming from this man so far. Peck dominated the start of the race. Then we saw a little bit of SKG lead. And now we once again return to AZR leading. But it's Daniel who comes into the pits, actually. Knocks the wall slightly. Somebody's had a bit of a moment. That was Herrera's Toma. But Daniel's into the pits. He's feeling that these tyres have gone off after about 10 laps. He's feeling these tyres have gone off. His teammate Batista's also come in. Well, they're going to next. They're going to the hard tyres. They do have to change the tyre again. Earlier than I thought. I can't lie. It's a lot earlier than I thought. Where is Daniel going to come out? Daniel still comes out in front of the other Daniel. And on fresh tyres as well. 4-5 laps on those tyres for SKG Daniel. Not what he wants. He's been on them for 4 laps now. Oh, that's not worked out for him. It's really not worked out for him at all. It should be now a pretty straightforward race. Kimi sets the fastest lap of the race. Very, very strong from himself. 14.340 is now the fastest lap of the race. That is the time to beat when it comes down to fastest lap. So we're going to have to see whether drivers can do it. But you can see, look at this. Daniel's not letting go of Daniel Mas at all. It is the battle for the win. It is fully back on now. And it's surprising to see. We know Daniel Mas has incredible pace. I'm just going to say Daniel Mas to make it easier. Daniel Mas, we know he has incredible pace. In that car. He's shown it already. He can get a 5-second lead. But he's got to defend this position from Daniel behind. And let's see, can he defend it? No, he's not. He's not going to be able to defend it. Just straight line speed on the SKG drivers. Just way too much. Just way, way too much from the other Daniel. But the race lead now, it's Wooder now leads away for SKG. Back into the lead for SKG here tonight, but it's a Ferrari leading this time, which I believe is the first time actually that we've seen a Ferrari lead for SKG this season, so it's interesting to see. I think I'm gonna have to see. You can see both Daniels are caught right up to Ixa already in this race. You can see they've already caught up to Ixa over P8. So definitely the advantage on fresh tyres is massive at the moment. I mean, Ixa wasn't too fast anyway, but it's important here now for Daniel Mas to get past this Mercedes at the same time. Here he goes. Daniel's gonna make it a real battle. As there goes, Daniel Mas down the inside. He makes the move for the provisional lead, actually, I do believe. And that's a nice move, but he is closing in massively on the cars in front. 6 seconds to Interior and to Smokey, pretty much. And it's time to close down on that gap massively now. And you could just see, look at how the time is just coming down so much, corner on corner, especially grip-wise, off of the exit. 6 seconds, 3/10 lost in one corner. Fresh hards are just way faster than any other tyre at the moment. And that's just undeniable. Absolutely undeniable. Ruben as well, by the way, up to P10. He gets past Ixa through the fast right-hander as well. Ballsy move from Ruben. Ruben not too far behind these two in front. He's actually catching up to them a bit, so he's clearly got some pace. QDXC moves up to P4, while Trusted now comes into the pits. I think he knows the speed from the others is kind of what he wants on fresh, hard tyres for the next 12 laps of the race. Laps are going by quite quickly. Where is Trusted going to fall down to, ultimately, in the order? He's down to P11, goes down to P12, P13, behind Justin. He's down to P13 in this race. I've got to say about the Williams, the two Williams drivers at UFRT, it's been a struggle for them here tonight. Rob on his own, same for Kimi, very much on his own as well because of an incident earlier in the race. But these guys have just been in the middle of nowhere. We saw in sort of qualifying, started qualifying, they looked strong, and then just they seem to really drop away at the end of the qualifying. Poor timing, I'd say, for when they did their laps. They did them earlier on. But it just looks like they've just had no pace. And it's very much, it's half of, including with Ixa, it only leaves Deck, who's fighting for the points. So 3 of the 4 UFRT drivers fighting 14th, 16th, and 17th. That's not really where you want to be. And second in the championship as well, it's such an important stage in the season, is just not really where you want to be at all. But you see Daniel, by the way, he's closed this gap down now below 4 seconds. He's found another 2 seconds in a single lap. So he's absolutely reducing the lap time from Interior and Smokey. They've got no chance of holding on to it at the moment. See, the gap to the leader. Sure, we don't do it often. Gap to the leader, at the moment, 13 seconds. See, the gap is quite large at the moment. Have at least something on interval. It looks weird if I don't have interval on. Look at Ben though, still P2 with Ryben and It's Wooder out in front in this race. He's going for it. He went to the hard tyres as well when he had to stop under safety car. Now he comes in. I think he's seen how strong those fresh tyres look, so I think he's going to be going to a fresh set of medium tyres now that he's done some laps on hards. QDXC gets multiple warnings. He gets a penalty for it. So he now, so there goes Ben. He goes on to the medium tyres. Where is he going to go down to, though? A car's gone off. Car has gone off. That's Kimmy that's gone off. Kimmy's off. That's interesting to see. Daniel now bring it down to 2.8 seconds. He's getting a lot closer to Interior and Smokey. Once again, he's getting that bit closer. Bit by bit, he's getting closer in this race, which is very interesting to see. Very interesting. Incredibly interesting to see. And there's a yellow flag. That is Kimmy, who's retired in the pit lane. Just very disappointing. As now Smokey comes in, we've got 3 drivers all in, and that means Daniel is now up to P3 in this race. But now he's got the other Daniel for company. But he might have to give back that position because it was under yellow flag. So we're going to have to see. There might be a report about that yellow flags were waved. Oh, somebody's had a big moment, and it's Wooder. He's round. I think he's had contact with Ben. And oh, no. SKG's day just gets worse. Only 1 driver left inside of the top 10 now. And that's Daniel on for 12 points here tonight. Just 12. A lonely 12 points in the championship. Not what they need. Oh, he's had a moment! Daniel has spun and broken his front wing. Oh my god, SKG's day has gone from bad to worse. It's just not getting any better. I think this is just a mess of 2 races for SKG. Both times they've been in contention for good points. Both times something has gone wrong, and it's just not what you expect to see from such a good team like SKG. You just don't expect to be seeing it from a team like this. You'd be expecting to see sort of better results, especially from their round 1. I'm not sure what Daniel's going to do. Is he going to stay in this race, and is he going to keep racing? I think so. I think he's going to keep racing. He's down in 16th, though, and he's going to be very much in no man's land. And to be honest, if I was him, I generally wouldn't keep racing. I would generally just retire. Personally, That's my personal opinion, but I would retire at this point, to be honest. Last and way off of the grid. Not the race you need, as there goes, it's Wooder up into P9. He's now chasing a 5-second gap to the next driver, Vibin in 8th. But Interior leads away, by the way, so TDR still get to lead a couple of laps here tonight. He's got Daniel for company. Ruben's starting to catch up, as Ruben's caught up as well to this battle, so Pekka back in it. Deck is also catching up to all of this, because Daniel has yet been able to make a move past. Ooh, quite a bit of lag there for Daniel. I've got to say, quite a bit of lag. But here comes Ruben for the lead of this race. We thought he was down and out. He's not down and out. He's back in the battle for the lead of the race. He wants to get Peck their first victory in 4s. He wants to make it 3 winners in 3 different races. But it also means 3 different pole sitters who have taken pole and won that race, which we've never had, by the way. We've never had a hat-trick of teams taking pole and winning in different races with different drivers. We've never had that, so we're going to have to see. Can Ruben take the lead of this race? There's only 7 laps of the race to go, so the race is coming down. That's Interior, who's had a moment through the first few corners, riding on board with Ruben here. The race is getting, I think, it's getting a bit toasty here, because Decker's also joined this in his desperate attempt to keep UFRT pushing for the championship, since he's a bit on his own sort of in this race. Even though Rob is on for small points, he's a bit on his own. Only 14 points coming the way of UFRT so far here tonight. So, kind of on his own and trying to push for points. We're going to have to see how that will go for him. You can see the gap. Daniel Mass, he's just able to just pull out the gap. Now, this race has calmed down a little bit. You can see Batista's also catching up to this. So is Ben as well. Daniel's having a couple of problems with his tyres because he's been on his tyres for quite a bit longer. Now the other Daniel sets the fastest lap of the race. I think it is currently quite interesting to see how all the teams are doing. It's very, very separated. Someone seems trusted now, gets the 3-second penalty, but he's not inside the top 10, so for him it doesn't really matter in this race. He's very much on his own. But I do have to say that it is difficult. It's now Daniel battles with Ruben as he holds on to the lead just for now. He's just about holding on to lead for now in this race. Still incredibly close. Still incredibly close in this race. I've got to say, it's been so incredibly close from start to finish. It's just been mental. Absolutely mental in this race. 5 laps to go. Team's getting a little bit racy. Well, 6 laps to go, but 5 more laps of this race to go. This race has actually gone by quite quickly, I have to say. I think it's just been that entertaining. As now we have 4 teams in the battle for the win, by the way. 4 teams all battling for the win. 2 AZR drivers, 1 PEC driver, 1 UFRT driver, and 1 TDR driver. This is interesting. Only SKG are missing from the list of drivers who are in this battle, but 4 teams battling for the championship. Well, battling for the win here and taking their first win in the championship, especially for PEC, UFRT, and for TDRs. Now Ruben retakes the lead, but look at Daniel. He's down the inside, but that tyre wear is not going to help him. He's got the extra tyre wear that nobody else has, and he's now lost out the lead. Let me just show you how much more tyre wear he's going to have. He's had 2 stops, but he's been on those tyres for 1 lap less than some of the others around. But also the Ben, he's been on those tyres for 5 laps longer than his mediums, so at the moment it's looking quite mixed. Toma, by the way, gets past for P14 in this race. But it's turning into a very interesting race at the moment. Nonetheless, it's turning into a very interesting race out in the lead. And I think it's going to be turning into something else and something even bigger in the next few laps as people start to race. Vibin, by the way, has also caught up to the pack, so that means another TDR driver joins the back of this line. Will Justin become a pet driver to join it? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure at the moment, but I think we are just going to have 6 drivers in this battle, 4 teams altogether. So let's see how this close victory is going to go, how this close race for the lead and for the win is going to go here tonight. Got more battling out in the lead. Daniel's trying to get past, but I think he's pushed his tyres a little bit too far. He seems to be struggling a little bit more than Ruben now on his tyres, but I think they're very similar. But I think it's now down to Ben in 5th, who's going to have the advantage on his tyres, but everybody is just so incredibly close. I don't even know. I don't know who's going to go where. 4 laps to go in this race. 4 laps to go in this race. 3 more after this. This race is becoming very, very close. I have to say it's becoming incredibly close. There's not a lot of battling everywhere else, but there is a lot of battling out in front. But I've got to say, this race is heating up into the final few laps. I did not think we'd have 6 drivers all in the battle for the lead of the race. I did not think we'd have that tonight. I thought we'd be having a bit more of a calmer, maybe 2-way fight for the win between Ruben and Daniel. Not Ruben, Daniel, Deck, Batiste, Ben, and Vibin all in there. And now 3 laps to go in this race. It is all to race for. We've got 8 cars all down the pit straight out of the 17 in this race. It's Wooder makes a move for P7. And a strong move it is nonetheless. And that's a good P7 and some extra points as well. Smokey inside the top 10 as well, taking 2 points. That's a lovely 7 points for SKG here tonight. So it's proving to be interesting. It's definitely proving to be interesting. But it is getting very toasty here, not only here in my room where I'm sweating to death, but also here on track. It's changing quite a bit. Lap 32 of 33. Just 2 laps to go. And these 2 laps, I've got to say, are going by incredibly quickly. Corner after corner, you can see already through turn 3. Every lap really matters here. Every lap matters. Somebody's had a bit of an off. That's Toma, I believe, who's had an off. He's down to P16 in this race. He's not having a good race so far. I think that was Interior that's just made his way up to P12 ahead of his teammate Trusted. That's a nice move made for himself there. It's Wooder starting to catch up to the top 6. He's closed in by about 3/10 this lap so far, so he is closing in, but it's not going to be enough, I don't believe. Nowhere close to enough so far, but you can see he is bringing that gap down bit by bit, so maybe the clean air helping him that little bit more to close up and to change it all here tonight. Could he become the 7th driver in the mix? I don't think so, as now, rounding the final corner, Ruben is going to be starting lap number 33 and the final lap here in Spain as it gets underway, heading down the pit straight. This is the best opportunity for Daniel to take the lead. He's too far back. He hasn't had the best sector 3. Now into turn 1. Ruben leads away, and that is good for Peck from pole and on his way for a victory, and the first for Peck in FRLT and in 4s Peck and Ruben leading away. Sector 1 is over. 2 sectors to go. Not many corners left to go either. And so far for Ruben, he leads away. And now, pretty much, the next section does not really allow overtaking so easily. You have to be side by side. And so, I think Ruben has the next 3 corners covered. And that's strong. That's very good for Ruben. It means he's got a bit more of the track covered for himself. Half a second is now the gap. Can Daniel close in enough? Half a second is the gap. Can he do it heading into the next corner? No, he can't. Has Daniel led so much of the race for nothing? It looks like Ruben has just about come on top here. Trust has had a moment. He's gone off track. He's going all over the place. Look at this. Batiste having a bit of a moment. He's gone down to P6. But coming round into the final corner, Ruben will win in Spain. And Peck will take their first win of the season. What a comeback from the man who put it on pole. Daniel finishes second with Deck in third. 3 teams on the podium for the first time. Ben in 4th, Vibin in 5th, Batiste in 6th, Wooder in 7th, Justin in 8th, Smokey in 9th, Rob finishes in 10th with QDXC in 11th with Interior in 12th. Daniel, the man from podium to outside of the points. Disappointment on the day for himself. And that is pretty much everybody's crossing line immediately. Very, very quickly. I have to say, very, very quickly. We've only got 2 more drivers across the line. And that is Toma and Jan in 16th and 17th place. As they cross the line, and that's the end of the race. And what an end it is. What an end. I just have no words for that ending to the race. Absolutely incredible. And now it is time to go through the order of the grid. It is Ruben who has gone from pole to winning. And what a brilliant day for himself. Then it's Daniel in 2nd, Deck in 3rd, Ben in 4th, Vibin in 5th, Batiste in 6th, It's Wooder in 7th, Justin 8th, Smokey 9th, and Rob in 10th. QDXC in 11th, Interior 12th, Daniel in 13th, Ixa in 14th, Trust in 15th, Jan in 16th, Perez in 17th, Kimi in 18th, and Wave in 19th, being our 2 retirements. Ultimately, guys, that is the end of the race, and my driver of the day has got to go to Daniel. What a day. What a day. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But ultimately, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please think about leaving a like and subscribing. Also, make sure to join the Discord server and make sure to click on that notification bell to know about all the content we're going to be doing on the channel from videos, shorts, and streams. So make sure to do that as soon as possible. Make sure to do that right now. But ultimately, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again very soon on Wednesday for assists. Goodbye. Look at this! Look at the battling, and it is a safety car! Here comes Mika into slow corner. Whoa! Almost! And away we go here in the Netherlands for F1